In today's video, we're going to be doing an updated version of our 2024 mock draft. Compared to our last video, we're going to do a couple of things a little bit different. First, we're going to take a look at some updated player rankings. Plus, we're going to expand this draft. We're going to take the draft and take it all the way to the top 28 picks. And that's coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, today we're doing another updated version of our 2024 mock draft, except we're taking it a big step further. Seeing as we're down to 4 teams right now in the NHL's 2024 Stanley Cup playoffs, we now know who's picking in what order for the first 28 spots. So we're going to expand our mock draft here. Previously, we did the top 16 just for the teams that missed the playoffs. Now we're going to take it a big step further for the first 12 teams that have also been eliminated from the Stanley Cup playoffs. So we're going to certainly expand this quite a bit. The player rankings have changed as well. So we're going to take a look at everything and kind of look at where things are going. So from here, we're going to hop onto the computer. We'll go through our top picks. You can let me know what you think and which players you think should go to each team. Of course, the first overall pick we know belongs to the San Jose Sharks, and no surprise, they're going with Macklin Celebrini, a foundational player to build this franchise around. They're going to be a top two-way center with good offensive instincts, has connections to the local area as well, which certainly will help sell and grow the game. So terrific player overall. There's never been a doubt for quite some time that he was going to be the top player selected in the 2024 NHL draft. It just, like I said, it's a good story. It's overall great for him to go to San Jose, where he can really help that struggling team. And like I said, with all the connections to the area, makes it even better. Selecting at number 2, we have the Chicago Blackhawks, and in this mock draft, they are going to take Ivan Demidov, who many consider the second best player in the draft. Obviously, some have concerns over when he'll come to North America, like is the case with a lot of Russian talent. But based on the recent developments with Matvei Michkov and recent updates on some of the mock drafts from some of the top scouting people, I really do think there's a high probability here that Chicago does grab this player. I think they may regret it if they don't. So I do have Demidov here, the talented Russian player, teaming up with Connor Bedard down the line when he does make the jump to North America. At number 3, we have the Anaheim Ducks, and I have them taking the big right shot defenseman, Artem Levshunov. Now, Levshunov, already playing in North America, of course, playing U.S. college hockey. It's believed that it won't be as long to get him to commit. I'm not sure how long he'll stay in college for, but certainly a top gifted right-hand defenseman are hard to come by. The Anaheim Ducks have selected a lot of top forwards in recent drafts. You know, obviously with Carlson, McTavish, they have Zegras, Troy Terry, go down the line here. So a really big right-handed defenseman who they can build around would be a great foundational piece, and you can make an argument of being best player available at that slot as well. I know sometimes in some mock drafts I've seen lately, they've had him falling a bit, but I think the Ducks will take him here. At number 4, we have the Columbus Blue Jackets, and they're going to take the high riser Tisha Ginla in this mock draft. I know I've seen some of the updated mocks coming out from some of the top, I guess you'd call them industry experts, or like the ones that claim to be, and think Ginla really is going to go top 5. He's been such a high rising player that it's kind of hard to imagine. I know some people still think he's going to be, a high pick, but maybe more in that, 5 to 10 range. But at the end of the day, Columbus is going to have some new management here, bring in a new GM, new likely president. Like there's a lot of change going on with that organization. And to make a big splash with a top guy like Tisha Ginla, I think would go a long way into getting a top offensive player to add to the mix here. At 5, we have the Montreal Canadiens, and I have them selecting the big centerman, Caden Lindstrom. Now, there are some concerns with Lindstrom, and I've seen some recent updates to the rankings with him dropping because of the injury concerns that he went through this year. Some are worried we're going to see a similar scenario like Gabriel Velarde, where Velarde lost a lot of playing time over a few years and almost lost his career. Thankfully, he's doing a lot better now at the Winnipeg Jets and got his game back after switching teams and going through a lot with LA before he got traded in a deal for Dubois. Lidstrom, obviously went through a lot this past year. It was a smaller sample size to see him in the position he was. He was also newer to the center position as well. But I think Montreal will like the upside. I think they'll take the chance here. They really need depth down the middle. So I do see them taking the plunge here in Lidstrom, even with some of the concerns that some experts have here. Next up at number 6, we're using the Coyote logo as the new Utah team, and we're going to take Sam Dickinson with this pick. We've had a run on forwards here with the new updated prospect rankings. I think we're going to see some more forwards go higher, but then we're going to have a run on D with Dickinson being the top guy. He's flourishing right now in the Memorial Cup with the London Knights. Obviously, he's got the size, the strength, the offensive instincts, decent defending. He would be a great building block for the Utah franchise. Obviously, they don't have much signed in the way of defensemen right now. They do have some good defensive prospects on the horizon, and Dickinson could really help them build a solid blue line with some of the other guys they've got coming as well. At 7, we have the Ottawa Senators, and another defenseman here, the top right-handed guy after Levshunov, Zane Parekh, is having a phenomenal Memorial Cup as well and had a great run in the regular season and playoffs with his existing team here in Saginaw. But just in the human highlight reel, this guy is a right-hand defenseman. He's not small, but he's not huge. I do see him being a terrific future complemented partner for Jake Sanderson. I think Parekh would be a terrific piece here for the Ottawa Senators. Add right defense is certainly an area for them, and really amongst all these defensemen between Dickinson, Parekh, Bouillon, like there's a lot of these guys that are, you could argue the order all day long, but I think Parech's the best fit here for the Sens. Next up here at number 8, we've got the Seattle Kraken, another defenseman here, Zeev Bouillon, University of Denver, national champion. Certainly one of the more complete defensemen, I think, amongst the guys that just got picked here. Certainly going to give you a lot of offense, but a lot of good hockey in his own end as well. So maybe a little bit more of a complete player would be a great addition to the Seattle Kraken lineup. I mean, they may break the trend here and go with a more offensive forward because there's still a few good ones on the board. But I think Bouillon's too tough to pass up here. I think we're going to see a run on D after a small run of forwards at the top part of this draft, and he'd be a terrific addition there to Seattle. At 9, we have the Calgary Flames, and as much as they'd like to get a Ginla, he's gone now. Berkeley Catton's a nice consolation prize. The young forward here is smaller in stature, but had an incredibly gifted offensive season. This kid is going to have a lot of talent and a lot of offensive skill as well. Wouldn't be surprised if the Flames do try to move up to grab a Ginla, given the connection to their, obviously the long history with his dad playing such great hockey for the franchise for so many years. But at the same time, like I said, Berkeley Catton, there's a lot to like here. And it could be a nice addition to their forward group as they continue to retool this team as well. At 10, we have the New Jersey Devils selecting, and they're going to select, I think, Consta Helenius. Now, we've seen Craig Button's most recent list come out a few days ago, and he had Helenius at 3, which I thought was ridiculously high. I really like Helenius. I think he'd be a great fit for the New Jersey Devils, but considering what they've had in their lineup right now, I think he'd be a good two-way player for them. I think Helenius will be somebody who has a shot at having a real solid career, good two-way player, but I don't see him going at 3 like Button did, but I think he'd be a great add here for the Devils. At 11th overall, we have the Buffalo Sabres, and I have them selecting Liam Greentree. He had a tough season overall with his team did. Windsor in the OHL, but he's a hard-working player, put the team on his back a lot, was certainly a great leader for them, being the team captain. Has a terrific shot. I think has real potential to be a real solid NHL player. May not be, a top-line player, but I think he certainly has a lot of potential to be a real hard-working middle six player that can produce a fair bit of goals. I think Greentree would be a great addition here for the Sabres with what they have going on in Buffalo. At 12, we have the Philadelphia Flyers, and I have them selecting Cole Yzerman. Yzerman's certainly a player that's got a ton of different opinions of him out there. He certainly has potential at least to be the draft class's top goal scorer, get a terrific shot, maybe more of a specialist in that area, power play guy. But at the end of the day, I think the Philadelphia Flyers would love to have him on their in their top 6. And ultimately, after having to lose Cutter Gauthier in that whole scenario, obviously that's not to say that Jamie Drysdale's not a good pickup for them from the Ducks, but at the same time, from the aspect of the forward group and building around the future there, that certainly was a setback, and Yzerman could come in on the wing and be a great goal scorer for them and kind of help, give them what they've lost in Gauthier. At 13, we have the Minnesota Wild, and I have them selecting another right shot defenseman here, Carter Yakimchuk from the Western Hockey League's Calgary Hitmen. Carter put up 30 goals this year, tons of offense, certainly has potential to be power play quarterback. He's got good size and strength already as well, which should accelerate a move to the NHL. Probably do another year of junior before that's a realistic possibility, but still it's somebody who could probably have a big role within the Team Canada structure for World Juniors coming up this year as well. Yakimchuk just could be a real nice addition to that Wild Blue line. At 14th overall, we have the San Jose Sharks by way of the Pittsburgh Penguins here through a trade, and I have them taking Anton Silyev. Now, Silyev I do have dropping a bit in this current draft. I have had him higher previously, and this is not really a case of him doing anything or having anything happen to make his game look less impressive. He's still a huge guy. That size and wingspan and ability to defend is all still there. Just some of these other players have had such strong finishes to their season and pushed their stock up. But you imagine the Sharks leaving this draft with Celebrini and Silyev would be a absolute steal for them. So if this mock draft is anywhere close to being accurate, that would be tremendous for the Sharks. 15, we have the Detroit Red Wings, and I have them selecting Michael Brandsegg-Nygaard. Now, some argue that Nygaard is one of the most NHL-ready players in this draft. Outside of a guy like Celebrini, some feel he would probably be either second or third when it comes to just ranking him based on who can make the jump to the NHL the quickest. If he ends up in Detroit, they're going to let him percolate because they don't rush their prospects there at all. But certainly he does appear to be close to being NHL ready for sure. He's got a powerful shot, great release, not afraid to take it to the net as well. Terrific skater, great at puck protection as well. So certainly plays a great possession style game, and I think he could be a great addition to this Red Wings prospect pool. And to be honest, I wouldn't even be shocked if he moved up in the draft here and went a few spots higher. At number 16th overall, we have the St. Louis Blues, and I have them selecting Beckett Senek here from the OHL's Oshawa Generals. I think Beckett could be a terrific player in the St. Louis system, but to be honest, another guy that I kind of fear I might have ranked a little bit too low here, may go a little bit higher. But he's known for being a hound on the forecheck, has a really high motor, just really good energy player, good at creating turnovers, not afraid to play physical. Certainly has flashes of showing that he has an elite skill set when it comes to his hands and being able to produce the offense and certainly stick handling skills to generate the looks. So to me, Senek could be a great addition to a lot of different teams, but the way he plays the forecheck, I can see him being a great addition here for St. Louis. But like I said, another guy that I kind of wonder if I might have ranked too low and could see him going a few spots higher. Selecting at number 17, we have the Washington Capitals, and I have them selecting right defenseman here, Adam Jiricek. Jiricek has got a lot of NHL upside. Of course, his brother David Jiricek was a recent high draft pick here of the Columbus Blue Jackets. I think Jiricek, like his brother, has high probability of having a solid NHL career as a fairly polished two-way defenseman with a good amount of offensive skill and defensive skill. So to me, with the Washington Capitals, they're a team that's an older team. They're trying to mix in some youth here. And to be honest, they could really use a solid top four defenseman coming in on the back end with some good youth on their side. So Jiricek could be a great addition to this club. Selecting 18th overall by way of the Islanders, because I have a trade, we have the Chicago Blackhawks, and I have them selecting Michael Hage, who certainly projects to be a pretty decent pick here. Going to be heading to the University of Michigan next year, so he'll have a chance to work on some things and become an even stronger player. Plays center, has good size, wicked shot, decent playmaker as well. Skating is good. I wouldn't call it explosive or not an elite level compared to some of the guys in this class, but certainly Hage is a guy that's got a lot of great tools and could certainly build himself to being a real terrific centerman down the road. Selecting 19th, we have the Vegas Golden Knights, and we have them selecting Tarek Periskak from the Western Hockey League's Prince George Cougars. Now we know how Kelly McCrimmon of the Vegas Golden Knights, the GM, likes his Western Canadian players. There's no doubt about that, and that's exactly what we have here in Periskak. He's got not as big. He's 5'11", 179. He could still grow a bit and get a bit bigger, but he had a phenomenal season here. He had a 105-point season with Prince George this year. Certainly known for being a little bit of a flashy player, lots of great offensive instincts, great stick handling, good skater as well. And considering what he's used to playing in the WHL too, where it is a little bit more of a physical league. I just think he'd be a great player that McCrimmon would really see as being a great addition to the Golden Knights here. Selecting 20th overall, we have the New York Islanders after that trade with Chicago, and I have them selecting U.S.-born player Trevor Connolly. I think Connolly has a real high potential here. Didn't have the greatest showing at the U18 tournament not long ago, but he's still a major offensive threat who has a lot of skill. And I think long-term still has a ton of potential. He's got a real high hockey IQ. He's a real smart player, a wicked shot, good hands. There's lots of skill there that I think they can build upon. The Islanders certainly need some more offensive prospects coming along the way, and I think Connolly, for what they have here at 20th overall, could be a great choice. At 21st overall, we have the Los Angeles Kings, and I have them selecting Russian-born winger Igor Chernyshov. Now, Chernyshov split this past season between the KHL and the lower-level MHL. At the MHL, he put up 28 points in 22 games. Great size, 6'2", just shy of 200 pounds. A little bit of one of the older players in the draft. He's already almost 18 and a half because of his birthday. Certainly, like I said, a player that I think could be a great addition to LA longer term. Certainly somebody who's got good two-way play, good shot, good pass, good defensive aspects to his game, and I'm not sure exactly what his plans would be for coming to North America like a lot of these Russian players, but overall I think could be a good addition as a middle six winger for the Kings. At 22nd overall, we have the Nashville Predators, and I have them selecting Sasha Boisvert. Now, Boisvert's got good size, 6'2", 180 pounds, Canadian-born, but playing in the USHL, is committed to going to North Dakota, so we'll be playing U.S. college hockey. He's a centerman, but he shoots left. Obviously, like I said, put up a good campaign last year for Muskegon in the USHL with 68 points, including 36 goals in 61 games last year. More of a shoot-first goal scorer, but has shown some ability this year to increase the creativity and the playmaking ability as well. So I think he's got some pretty solid long-term potential here, being an NHL centerman. Maybe not a first-line player, but somebody who could probably have a ceiling as maybe a number 2 center in the NHL, I think. Next up at 23 overall, we have the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I have them selecting Ryder Ritchie from the Western Hockey League, of course, and the Prince Albert Raiders. He is a forward who is a decent size, 6 feet tall, 175 pounds. Had himself a pretty good U18 tournament for Team Canada, putting up 8 points in 7 games. Pretty solid campaign with the Raiders as well this year, putting up 44 points in 47 games. So overall, somebody who's I think could be a good addition here for the Leafs. They've had pretty good luck drafting out of this league in recent years. Ritchie does have great speed and great skating as well, so combine that with his good offensive instincts, should be a great fit here for the Maple Leafs. Next up at 24th overall, we have the Colorado Avalanche, and I have them selecting from the OHL's Guelph Storm, Jet Lushenko. Lushenko, I think, has great potential, right shot centerman. Not an overly huge guy, but he could still potentially fill out here and be a little bit bigger. He's 5'11", 183 right now, so if he even makes it to 6 feet, 190. That's still pretty decent size for an NHL centerman. Overall, I think had a pretty good year in Guelph, putting up 74 points in 68 games. Certainly more of a playmaker than a goal scorer. Also played for Canada at the U18 tournament, putting up a point per game effort in 7 games. So I think Lushenko obviously is somebody who's kind of looked upon as being a pretty solid two-way centerman with top 6 potential, lots of skill there and good speed, so certainly a nice asset for the Avalanche to add to their system. Selecting 25th overall, we have the Ottawa Senators. This pick was originally a Bruins pick, and they're going to select, if he's still available in this draft, Cole Hudson, and he is. I mean, obviously, if in the actual draft, if he were available here for Ottawa, I think they'd be thrilled. So Cole Hudson, another dynamically skilled defenseman here, obviously a little bit smaller like his brother Lane, of course, who was drafted by the Montreal Canadiens and recently signed. If he did end up in Ottawa, that would create a fun rivalry between the brothers for the two teams, since they play each other a lot and are division rivals. But Cole Hudson, another dynamic, smaller defenseman, though, of course. That's the one thing that a lot of scouts seem to draw upon, is that he's not overly big, but he's got great skating and terrific offensive instincts. Selecting 26th overall, we have the Montreal Canadiens, and I have them selecting forward Andrew Basha from Medicine Hat in the Western Hockey League. Decent size here, 6 feet tall, 185. Certainly a player who had a pretty solid year in Medicine Hat this year. Of course, teammates of Caden Lindstrom. He had 85 points in 63 games, obviously including a 30-goal season. Basha has a really good wrist shot, pretty good skater as well, so certainly somebody who could be a great addition here in the Habs forward prospect group. Next up at 27th overall, we have the Carolina Hurricanes, and I have them selecting the Finnish defenseman, Aaron Kiriharju. Now, he's a little bit of a smaller defenseman, like Cole Hudson, in the sense that some scouts may shy away because of his size, but he's got lots of time to grow into things. Currently, he's listed though at 5'10", 172. Even the year before, he was a little smaller. His size did improve some. He appeared for Finland at the U18s this year, putting up 3 points in 5 games. Certainly has terrific skating in hockey sense, which is why some teams are not afraid of the size thing here. Obviously, some are going to want a different type of defenseman. For a team like Carolina, who's going to have a lot of turnover on the blue line and certainly need to find ways to get some younger guys into their lineup in the next few years, I think Kiriharju could be a great prospect to add to their system here. At number 28, we have the Calgary Flames. This was originally a Canucks pick, was traded to Calgary, and I have them selecting defenseman Henry Muse from the Ottawa 67s. Muse is a player who's seen his draft ranking change a lot throughout the year. I know about a year ago when I first started researching more about this draft, he was ranked a lot higher. And I think it's because he's the type of defenseman you get a high risk, high reward. Great skater, great offensive skills. But I think there are times when his decision making comes into, it kind of goes against him at times. So we'll see. Obviously, he can still be developed. He's young, lots of time. But he could be a great find late in the first round for a team that's willing to take a chance on him, I think. So those are my top picks for the first part of the NHL draft. So obviously, lots of prospects here. Some of these picks, may be accurate. Some of them may go in a different direction. Either way, things could change again as well before the draft gets here in about a month's time. So certainly let me know your thoughts on all of today's selection down in the comments. We'll discuss further. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with all the news around the 2024 NHL draft and all the news and rumors around the entire NHL. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.